very high in the mountains with this extreme Malbec, and Lucas will explain us all about it. Go ahead, Lucas. This is your ascension journey.
Good afternoon. Very happy to be here surrounded by my colleagues. I am Lucas Löwi. I'm the State Director or General Manager at Terrazas de los Andes. I was born and raised in Mendoza, and my personal journey and the wine industry included an experience in Spain, where I had the opportunity to work and live during 9 years, leading Bodega Numancia, crafting the Numancias and Termancias beautiful wines. But I decided to come back home to Mendoza, to Terrazas de los Andes. Terrazas de los Andes, it's a project that started three decades ago, and we started Terrazas de los Andes with the dream to craft fine mountain wines at the foothills of the Andes Mountains with a very special property in Luján de Cuyo, in the district of Las Compuertas, Malbec planted in 1929, one of the oldest Malbec from the regions, part of the patrimony of Luján de Cuyo and Mendoza. And aiming for even more freshness and elegance to our wines is that we started our own ascension journey. And this ascension journey that started in Las Compuertas with a vineyard planted at 1,070 meters. It took us to the Uco Valley, where we planted 3 vineyards in Paraje Altamira, neighbors of my colleagues here, in an altitude of around 1,100 meters above sea level. And having these 2 properties, Las Compuertas and Altamira, we wanted to go even higher in the mountain, understanding the influence of the altitude in Mendoza. So we started to go even closer to the mountains, and we planted 2 vineyards in the region of Los Chacalles, one property at 1,200 meters above sea level, and another one what were currently planted at 1,450 meters above sea level. But we wanted to have even more, and the pinnacle of this ascension journey for us took us to the highest part of Gualtadari. And in this region, we found this beautiful vineyard, this more than 100-hectare vineyard called El Espinillo, planted in the year 2008 at 1,650 meters above sea level. This is a very special terroir. The vineyard is planted with an orientation from north to south. We have a density of around 5,000 plants per hectare, yielding around 5,000 kilos per hectare, and we perform there regenerative farming. So this vineyard during the last 6 years has not seen any herbicides, no pesticides, and we leave the cover crop. So we do not remove the land. We haven't removed the land in this vineyard for the last 6 years, and keeping the cover crops alive. It's very interesting how we see how we can enrich the biodiversity of the place and how we bring back to the mountain the natural fauna and flora. And within the cover crop, we see how the herbal, the native herbs grow alongside the grapes, and how this is having an impact on the aromatic profile of our wines. The vineyard is irrigated. We have a beautiful amount of water there. It's the highest vineyard in that region. I don't think there will be more vineyards higher due to the lack of water. We have the chance to have good access to a wall with more than 200 meters of profound to search for the water. The soils there are sandy loam soils. We can see mid-sized rocks covered by calcareous. This is a beautiful calcareous component, very, very close to the mountain. And in the measures that we perform on our different vineyards, we measure the average temperature in our vineyards. And in the 3 districts that I mentioned before, in Las Compuertas, in Paraje Altamira, in Los Chacalles, we classify our temperature at around, in a Winkler scale, number 3. But this vineyard, El Espinillo, in the highest part of Gualtadari, is the only vineyard in that region with a scale of winter 1. So it will be a similar or equivalent to plant a vineyard in the region of Champagne. The altitude here,
Much more sunny, much more sunny.
and less rainy, yes, less rain. but in terms of altitude, the weather changed dramatically. So if you go from the city of Mendoza to the L'Espinillo vineyard, you climb almost 1,000 meters of altitude. In a car, you can do this in less than 2 hours drive, as Joaquin said at the beginning. So this is beautiful and amazing, and it shows the diversity of soils and weathers that we have in Argentina. And this is why we selected this place to craft our new iconic wine, Terrazas de los Andes Extremo Malbec. On the winemaking, I would like to add that, of course, having this altitude, the steams are different than in the lower areas. So when we steam our grapes and we feed the tanks by gravity, but we keep a percentage between 15% 20% in which we use the full cluster in order to keep this freshness until the end of the process. And then on the aging, we use, of course, we use a small percentage of new oak here. It's around 30% of new oak. We use 40% of used oaks, but we also use terracotta amphoras in order to keep this freshness until the end, because we really want to bring to the world a very distinctive kind of Malbec with a lot of freshness and elegance at the same time, a very vertical Malbec that, tasting these wines all around the world with different tasters, many of them don't recognize it as a pure Malbec, and they compare it more to a sort of Pinot Noir style from Burgundy. So very happy, and I think we are also on the journey to rediscover the Malbec in these very, very high altitude vineyards. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy.